Hello everyone and welcome to our Monday live stream. How are you guys doing? Welcome. My god. How is everyone doing? Hello Aryan, Valaji, Lison. How are you guys doing? Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing, guys? All good? Kelvin Nascimento. Hello. Grav, how are you, my friend? Welcome. Today we're gonna continue with the retopology process. Last week I was not feeling good, so the stream was way shorter than I thought, and I was not in a good situation. I was feeling really weak. It seems like I caught a virus or something, and then my little baby caught the virus, and then my wife caught the virus. So we've been having a lot of sick days on the on the what's the word, on the house. So today we're gonna continue with that. But do I have a story, guys? Yesterday, oh, where is it? I'll tell you a story in just a second. So yesterday, well, first of all, let me know if the music is okay or if it's too loud. I'll get it lower a little bit. There we go. So the next portfolio review, Elise, is gonna be in 2 weeks. So that's gonna be April 15 and 16. You can check the link. I believe it's on the description right now, and if not, go to any of the videos from last week and you can find the link there to submit your portfolio. Ah, there you go, David. That's great. Finish the complete guide to Maya 2023. Now we are in Maya 2024. There's not a lot of stuff, to be honest. But yeah, it's the new Maya now. Okay. So here's where we left off. Cool. Hey, Aryan, Tarok. Good morning, my friends. Yeah, my throat is way better. But yesterday, something horrible happened. So yesterday, we got an email from NordVPN. You guys know that one? NordVPN, which is this sort of VPN thing. And it seemed that they wanted to sponsor us, right? So they were offering to sponsor us here on the YouTube channel. And they sent some files for us to review. And I opened those files, and it was a Trojan horse. It was a Trojan. It was a virus. I did not check properly. I was too excited about the prospect of being sponsored, and I didn't review the name of the sender, and it was a Trojan horse. So my computer got infected, and I had to find the Trojan horse, delete it. I had to do a full scan. I was really worried that I was gonna have to format the whole thing, because I hate when I have to do that. It's very time consuming. But yeah, so I was caught. I think that's the first virus I've gotten in like 5 years or something. I normally very wary of what to click and where to download stuff, but that one caught me off guard, and unfortunately I had to. So I stayed up until like 2 in the morning, just like finding every single part of that Trojan and deleting it from my computer. It was really bad. They tried to hijack my email account and everything, which was horrible. That's how I noticed that I had a Trojan. But it's all good. I had like make sure you guys have like 2-factor authentication and stuff like that, because that's what saved me. Otherwise I wouldn't have noticed. Any sneak peek on the character? Not yet, not yet. I'll show you a sneak peek soon. Not yet. We are working, I can tell you guys that we're working on 4 courses. 4 courses are gonna be releasing in the next couple of, probably in the next month or so. I'm doing 1, and we have 3 other instructors doing more courses as well. So there's a lot of stuff. What virus software? I got Malwarebytes. I got the premium version of Malwarebytes. That one seems to be working fine. But I've heard that like Kaspersky and stuff like that are good. Like usually Windows Defender is more than enough. You need to be really careless for your computer to get infected. And I was careless yesterday. So that's how I got the virus. Yeah, it was a scam email. It was a scam email. Like after I realized, I looked up the like the email address, and it was very obvious. Like the handle at the end, it was not like from the official NordVPN channels. So yeah, they were targeting they were targeting new like YouTubers and stuff, and that's how they get you. Yeah, Malwarebytes is pretty cool. But this one, it was interesting because this Trojan that I got yesterday, Malwarebytes did not find it. Like, it quarantined it. It did manage to like block the access and stuff, but it couldn't delete it. So I had to manually look for where this thing was installed or where it installed itself. And after doing a little bit of research, I was able to find it. Arian says, I'm trying to render my scene, but Maya is crashing a lot in 16 to 40%. Yeah, I mean, with heavy scenes, it can happen like that. Is that the alleyway scene, Arian? Or what scene is it? Was it the one that you've been showing this past couple of weeks? Okay, look at this, guys. This one's an important lesson for topology. We have this thing right here that's pushing the silhouette quite heavily. So for this kind of stuff, you at least want to have 4 faces on the cap, like this. And then they go down to create like the surface of like the cylinder right there. Okay. And then we need to find a way to stitch this into everything else. But as you can see, we don't want to add any more topologies than we already have, so we're probably going to have a couple of triangles here and there. That's fine. Triangles are fine for game retopology. Like even these 2 triangles there, those are fine, because we're not going to be deforming this this book, right? So when you're not deforming an object, when the object's just going to be a still object, triangles are fine, especially in flat areas like that one. That's also like fine. Let's go to this part here on the hair. I've mentioned this before. Retopology is not the funnest thing, to be honest. It's very time consuming. I enjoy it, but it's a little bit like boring to watch, I think. But it's very, very, very important. You want to try to capture the angles and the sharp lines of the object as close as possible. That's the objective of retopology. And ideally, you want the retopology to flow in an expected way. I'm gonna keep it pretty low poly, Andy. In this case, I'm gonna keep it pretty low poly. Let's see. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. It's getting really, really hot in here. I'm gonna turn on the fan. There we go. So, okay, let's see. Cyan says, in my Steamfog Firefly tutorial, the image file is missing. I'll have to check that one. I'm not sure why it's missing. You could just make it a square instead of a hexagon. Yeah, square would be like the smallest one, but we would get like less definition, I would say. And in this case, since we don't really have a hard number for our poly count, I think we can afford to have a couple of extra polygons there to make it look a little bit nicer. Francesco Cuarta says, hi, Retopology, like it. And definitely really like we can use a new magnet on multiple meshes. Yeah, it's a fun option. Like I'm not really utilizing that new tool here because I've combined every single mesh into a single like piece. But it's fun. I was reading some of the comments. People tend to be really, what's the word? Critical about Maya for some reason. I find that people tend to be really angry at Maya. They don't like Maya at all, even though it's the industry standard. They say, oh, Blender has done this faster and more efficiently and stuff. It's like, yeah, Blender is really cool as well. I really like Blender as well. But hey, if Maya is doing something cool, might as well use it, right? It's not like you guys are doing the programming for the software. That's why it's just people. Like, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinions, right? But I find it really funny that people like it never seems to be enough for people. People always want like super pro tools and stuff, and it's like, hey, well, this is what we got right now. It's better than nothing. Let's see. Is there any way to speed up retopology for certain things? Yeah. Like there are certain tools that you can use to make retopology a little bit faster. There's some what's the word? Automatic retopology tools that you could use. However, most of those tools won't give you the most like optimized effect or result, and they will also not give you the exact like loops that you might need. So the results that you get are not as clean mainly. And again, depending on what you're doing it for, sometimes it's fine. This is something that I have a little bit of an issue explaining to people. There is like the, let's say, like the proper way to do things, and then there's the like it works kind of way, right? So sometimes you will do things that might not be like the proper way to do them, but if it works and you can get the job done and you can get paid, then I mean, who cares, right? It's a complicated what's the word? I'm not sure. Philosophy would be, I guess. It's a complicated way to work, but it's important that you guys understand. Like, due to time constraints, due to money constraints and stuff like that, you might not always have the ability to do everything as like cleanly and perfectly as possible. Like I've had like certain times where clients are like, hey, I need a render, I need it in like 40 minutes. Booleans, I'm just gonna Boolean everything. I'm just gonna do automatic everything to get something out, right? And then if I get more time, I'll do it properly. But yeah, sometimes you just need to work a little bit faster than usual. Blender with add-on is kind of, without add-ons is kind of, yeah, that's the like interesting thing about Blender is you do need a lot of add-ons. There's a lot of add-ons that make Blender really cool. Most of them are free, which is great, but there are some of them that you do need to pay, so it kind of ends up being very similar, right? Again, I've used both. I use Maya and Blender. Like Blender released a new update as well this past week, 3.5, I think, or 3.4, something like that, and it has some really cool stuff. And I think competition is great. Like I am really happy that Blender is doing a lot of stuff, because competition, if Blender starts doing things that are really cool, then Autodesk, ZBrush, everyone else needs to step up their game, right? So competition breeds innovation, And even though we might not like competition, it's important that we have it. So yeah, that's why I'm happy that Blender is doing well. And it's a great tool for indie artists, to be honest. Like I've mentioned this before, but now here in Mexico, I'm teaching my students to use Blender because the 3D industry here in Mexico is relatively small. It's not as big as in like Canada or the United States. So if they're gonna be doing local stuff or things like that, then knowing Blender is gonna be a lot better because they don't have to invest on a 3D software. Yeah, Maya is very heavily criticized, Francesco. I don't know why. I love Maya. I mean, it has its faults, right? It's not perfect. I'm not like married to Maya or anything. If tomorrow there's a software that does exactly what Maya does but better, I'll change, like on a heartbeat. But then you also need to understand. I remember. I don't remember exactly who it was that talked about this, but it was an artist that was like, "Hey," someone asked him, "Hey, how many softwares do you know, or how many software do you like to have under your knowledge and stuff?" And he was like, "I'm just gonna have enough softwares to be able to do the work that I have. So if a new software comes out, let's say a new sculpting software comes out, and you can do things that you do in ZBrush like 3 times faster. Okay, that's fine, but how long is it gonna take you to learn that software? Because if it's gonna take you 2 years to learn the software, then even if it gives you twice the speed, it might not be the best option for you as an artist because you're gonna lose a lot of time learning the software. If it's a software that you can learn really fast and it's gonna increase your what's the word? Your speed, then yeah, I mean, why not? But that's the thing. I think they asked this one when I was in Noman. They we had like a we had there was a presentation. I think it was by Disney or something, and they asked them, "Hey, like there's this new software about like hair or something. Why are you guys not using it?" And that was their answers. Like the thing is, we could use it, but the thing is, we're gonna have to train our artists. We're gonna have to learn the software. And it's gonna take a little bit longer production-wise than what we might want for our own like studio, right? So we need to be very careful about. We need to be mindful about when we take or make those sort of decisions to learn new softwares. That's also a pitfall that I see students have. They want to learn every software. It's like that's not necessary. You can start learning like the 3 most important ones, which are Substance, ZBrush, and Maya or Blender, and then from there you can try and see which other ones you might need to be able to create what you want to create. Let's see. Arian says, "Oh, okay. Sorry. There's." Truth be told, if you're a pro at either Max or Maya in modeling, that company couldn't care less unless it's pipeline involved in tools. Yeah. That I agree there, Dots. Even in Blender, like in my studio here in Hyperlab, we have 7 artists. 3 of them work in Maya, 4 of them work in Blender. I don't care what they use. Like I don't care. Like as long as they can do what I need them to do, it's fine. Because we don't have any like super specific pipeline or tool that we're using that requires everyone to use Maya. The only thing I do require them is animation. We do it in Maya. Like we do animation in Maya, so the animators must know Maya. When should you use tries? Whenever you need them. Tries are beautiful. I have a lot of tries here. A lot of them. Tries are really good, man. The thing is, tries can be like a double-edged sword. In this particular asset, it really doesn't matter because it's not an asset that's going to be deforming, okay? So the rules for an object that's not going to deform change quite dramatically from like a character or like a creature, right? So if you go back, we have the playlist for the Fogling, which was a creature that we did in December, and I do Retopology there as well. I was a lot more like specific or more precise with my Retopology there because we needed to make sure that it was gonna deform properly in animation. But in this case, since this book's not gonna be animating, it doesn't really matter. The most important thing about an object when you're doing retopology is that you capture the silhouette of the object as cleanly and as nicely as possible. For For instance, here, that I see that there's a change in silhouette because of this guys. I'm gonna add another loop right there, and then this guy's gonna continue back like this. Here, for instance, see this corner? If I really want to be like super clean about that corner, I can add a triangle right here to capture that corner a little bit better. See that? And I don't add any like extra lines going into the topology. We keep it really clean, really nice. And that triangle that I added there allows me to capture this bevel a little bit better. This part right here, some people might go in, don't do that, just go across, because all of that information is going to be captured on the normal map. And then here, for instance, if we want to like simplify a little bit, since this is very flat, we can just collapse that into a triangle as well, and just keep filling all of this area right here. Now this one is a little bit tricky. This piece right here. Here, I'm gonna show you something. So let's say I wanna do this. I'm gonna grab this faces right here, and actually I'm gonna separate. I'm gonna say mesh separate. So now every single like mesh, it's gonna be a lot of meshes. Hopefully this doesn't crash. Last time it crashed and we lost everything. There we go. Let me see real quick. There we go. So this piece right here, as you can see, it's just a loop, right? Here's where some of the good re-topology tools can be very useful, and we can use automatic remeshing. So I'm gonna go mesh. I'm gonna go retopologize. I'm gonna try to bring this all the way down to like 100 triangles. Target face count 100, and then over here I do want symmetry, world XX, and hit apply. Let's ignore and continue. Let's see if this works. There we go. So we get this, which is not bad, right? It's not bad. So over here, we're gonna get the other face is gonna be hidden, I think. Oh no, it didn't save it. There's a new option. You can mesh, retopologize, keep original. There we go. Let's give it a little bit more faces, so 200. Symmetry, and hit apply. Low resolution input per processor. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. So now, where is it? Hey. That's weird. I don't see it. Let's delete history and try again. That's really weird. Huh. Mesh, retopologize. Keep okay, let's not keep original, I guess. Okay, apply. No, but we do need to keep original. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate this, and I'm gonna do it on one of this. Roma, doing good, man. There we go. That looks better. Cool. So we get this, right? And again, it's not perfect, but it's good. It gives us a nice detail. So I can see that, for instance, all of these faces up here, I don't really need them. So we can just delete them. Make sure to delete the history as well to get rid of any information that we might need. And then if we make this live again, and then we go into this mode, we're gonna be able to smooth things out. I can definitely see that we have way more polygons on the inside than we really need. So I'm gonna delete some of them, and I saved myself quite a bit of time by doing this, right? Because I'm able to capture most of the silhouette right here. Then what we need to do is we need to grab like multiple elements, like all of these guys, make them live again, grab my low poly, combine it with this low poly here, and then we can continue working. So you guys can imagine that what's gonna happen here is that we're gonna like project these things down and create the little edge loop that's gonna flow and connect itself to the next part, right? So that's how you can use some of the automatic retopology tools to save yourself a little bit of time. And it is handy. There are certain assets, for instance, on the character creation guide that I did on January, the texturing guide, that one, the axe, I used automatic retopology for the axe because it was just way faster. So it can definitely be used to create some cool stuff and to save yourself a little bit of time with manual retopology. There we go. Also, as you can see here, I'm moving a little bit faster, or the processing is going a little bit faster, because the less like elements that you have on your live surface, the faster the processing can be. So since we're only working on this like metal bits down here, look at all those triangles right there. Again, triangles are fine. Just need to know where and why, or where and when to use them. Let's see, some questions. Let's answer some questions. Aryan says, or actually, let's go a little bit back. Wow, we got a lot of questions today. Hello, Abraham. How much does an infinite background improve your character renders? I would say quite a bit. It makes it look way more professional, to be honest. And it's something that's super simple to add, so you really don't lose anything. Nowadays, pretty much every single render that I do, I add an infinite background because it just makes it look a lot nicer. That's usually how film studios will present their characters as well. Usually, not always. So that's why I've been doing it for the past like couple of years. When should you use tries? Again, anytime you need to use them, it's fine. As long as you are using them properly, you should be fine. Retopology means making low poly for baking, right? Yes, that's right. We are using, we're making a mesh that will capture all of the details that we will be projecting from the high poly mesh to this low poly mesh right here. So by doing that, we save performance. We save performance, or we save some memory performance wise, because we don't have to think about all of the other polygons, and it makes it run a lot smoother on the games. Another common advice that I give when retopologizing is try to go for broad strokes first. So for instance, I'm capturing this whole silhouette here first. There we go. And then if I need to, I'll go back and add more lines. That way I don't add more points that I'm gonna need. And you move faster. You start covering more area that way. There we go. Let's see. More questions. Aryan says, I didn't submit a test because they wanted me to make a cars at testing max and the work. Oh yeah, trying to, that will be, And that's a lot of work. Like, I normally don't like doing tests that take too much time. It feels, I don't know, dishonest to me. Like, if you've already seen my portfolio, why do you need a test, right? For instance, here on the channel, or with the instructors, I do make them do a test to check the audio quality, the video quality, and stuff like that. But I don't question their artistic abilities. There we go. Okay. So let's do a quick test here. I'm gonna go front view. I'm gonna delete all of this, guys. Oh, careful there. I'm gonna delete this guy's right here, and then this guy's right here. I'm gonna grab all of the vertices that are on the center line, being very careful not to grab anything that's not on the center line. We're gonna scale them all and then snap them. And technically, if we mirror this, should be really close. As you can see, this one is not as close. So the book does change a little bit in certain areas. I'm gonna probably have to do this manually, but at least I get like I saved myself a little bit of time. And that's because the book changes proportions a little bit. Now here, what we could do if we wanna save a little bit of time is maybe just like move it around and stuff, but maybe not this time. Let's see. Yeah, when it's a game mesh and there's no deformation, you can use triangles. And even for characters, you can use triangles. Again, people are very scared of triangles, and you really don't need to be, because triangles are useful. But I can understand where the fear is coming from. Let me combine. I'm gonna combine the main book back. Let's grab. Oh. Go. Combine. Delete history. We're gonna make it live. Let's see. Retopology makes me stress. Yeah, it can be stressful, Huang. It can be stressful, my friend. I understand what you mean. But the best way to get good at retopology is to practice. Practice a lot. For instance, here, I'm gonna simplify by collapsing that triangle right there. That way we don't have as many lines going up. I might even simplify once more right there. And that's gonna bring my poly count really low. Like that. Symmetry is working fine with Retopology. Yeah, symmetry is fine. It's just that the book is not symmetrical because it's a lot thicker on this side than it is on this side. So that's why I'm gonna have to do it separately. If you were to use a diorama, should you still use the... No. If it's a diorama, you can have it floating on the space, like on a black background or something. You don't really need that. Does environment artists need to learn character modeling? I mean, yes, but not as much. Because, for instance, as an environment artist, you might be asked to do like a statue, and you need to do, well, a little bit of like anatomy and stuff. You don't have to know as much as what a character artist would normally know, because they are going to be dealing with animation and deformation. But it's always handy, right, to know a little bit about at least the basics of anatomy and stuff. So if you can take the basics, I think that would be it's a good idea. Is triangle a ghost, or can we go with it? And yeah, we can go with it. I don't know what you mean by a ghost, but yeah, you can go with triangles. Triangles are fine. For instance, here, like that place right there, it's a perfect spot for like a triangle. So yeah, triangles are fine. Now here for the paper, it's an interesting one because I do want to have a little bit more detail than what we have here. So I am gonna go down into the cover of the books here, but then I don't want to do that for each individual page. That will be, I think that would be like overkill. See that, like there's another like little triangle right there. That's fine. So I don't want to go again each individual face. That will be overkill. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna hit like the high points. So from here, let's go to like this page right here, and then right here, and then here, and then to the other side. So it's gonna be four divisions. And as you can see, that's gonna give me enough sort of like bumpiness on the pages to be able to have something that looks a little bit nicer. I'm also gonna start simplifying here because I don't want to have as many squares going back. So again, a couple of triangles there, that's fine. And if this is the line that we're following, then we just cover all of these areas right here. Usually a good rule of thumb is you want to keep the size of your squares consistent. Like you want every single square to measure roughly the same size. When doing retopology, there we go. So that right there should capture the silhouette nicely on our book. Yes, there's gonna be some like weird shadows on the normal map, but that's due to the nature of it, right? Like, of course, we could go and really, well, careful here. I definitely want to. So for instance here, I definitely want to capture a little bit of the border, so we get an extra shadow there, even if it means like having a little triangle there. And that little border right there, it's gonna be quite important. There we go. Like that. We can even capture a little bit of the bevel for the book right there. There we go. There we go. And now we can keep adding our 4 divisions here on the paper. There we go. Let's see. I'm making them. Sarpedon says I'm making models in Blender 3D for printing, and I envy models for games because every polygon is needed. Yeah. No, you don't envy them, right? Because it's more work. That's the thing. There's a lot of people nowadays that can do amazing sculpts and models inside of like Maya, Blender, ZBrush, but not everyone knows the proper pipeline to get them into a game engine or into production. And that's one of the things that studios are working or looking for. They want people that know how to create like cool things, but also make them usable for production, because it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Go. So this big faces right here, they go to the side, and then we just keep moving points. We just keep moving points. What's the difference? Valaji says, what's the difference between a pen display and pen computer? A pen computer or a pen display is pretty much just a screen that allows you to use the interface as a tablet. Especially, I would say, for concept artists or for people that are doing like digital painting, it's really good because they can see exactly where they're painting. Otherwise, you need to have a little bit of coordination between your hand and your eyes, and it takes a while. For us as sculptors or as modelers, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. I actually have been struggling with that because I have my pen display right here, but when I'm sculpting in ZBrush, I'm actually watching my monitor, and I'm just like doing this when I should be watching the pen display. It's just I've used a traditional pen for so long that I don't feel as comfortable like looking down. But it's personal preference. You can do amazing things with both of them. Triangles are not n-gons. Triangles are good, yes. But hey, in more courses say only squares. Don't say why, so people scare with no sense. But yeah. Yeah, and that's... I remember when I was a student, back in the day, my teachers used to tell me this, like, triangles are bad, never have triangles, all squares, all squares, all squares. And I was scared of triangles. I was like, no, you should never have a triangle. And then you learn that, no, it's not that you shouldn't have, but they're like a double-edged sword. So you really need to know where to have your triangles. So if you don't know how to use them properly, then it's better to stay with or stick with squares. Because otherwise you're gonna make mistakes that are gonna be very, very complicated to fix later on. And that's not what you want to be doing. For instance here, right? Like this is a really complex part, really complex section of the element. So I'm probably gonna have some triangles. Like there. That's gonna be a triangle. Here, for instance, you can do another triangle. And even another one right there. And that's fine. As long as we are using them, again, properly. And we have like a justification to have those triangles, then it's fine. Triangles are a really, really good way to simplify topology. So if you have a lot of points in specific areas, you can use triangles to reduce the amount of points. For instance, let's say I want to add a square right here, but I don't want this line to go all the way down there. In this case, I do want it, but let's say I want another one right here. What I can do is I can delete the face, make this a triangle, so that we can get the extra polygons right there, and this does not go all the way down. We keep it, again, we keep it simple. Like this. Here I'm gonna try to loop around this a little bit, just because it's nicer. And it's an important detail, so capturing it properly is a good idea. And then we can solve this later. Triangle. And then have another one of this. Someone was mentioning, hey, you can always do just like a square. Yeah, but the problem with the square is that it becomes really like tense. I know by doing a octagon or hexagon or whatever this is, we get more points, but we also get more detail. And this is one of the things that they don't tell you about in school. There's a lot of like tedious, repetitive work at the production pipeline, but it's part of what we need to do to get a good result for games. Look at that. Not bad, not bad. And we're still quite a little bit away from the final result, but it's looking quite nice, right? Let's see. Yeah, for animation it's way better to do squares. When you smooth your objects, all triangles become squares. Yeah, but we're not gonna smooth this one. We're not gonna smooth this one. This is like, it's gonna stay like this. Right now we're at 1600 triangles, which is really nice. Really optimized. Really, really optimized. Let's go. For instance, here, I'm not loving that like interaction. So I'm gonna do some changes. Usually when the silhouette changes like drastically like this, I do like to like capture it. Even if it means that I'm gonna have this area a little bit more dense than other areas. Like for instance here, I'm gonna delete this square, add one line right around there. Actually, I think I'm just gonna delete this one. Because it's a big change in silhouette right here. Who's my favorite artist? Oh, that's a great question. I'll show you in just a second. There's a couple that I admire. Do you have any tutorials about shaders? Not like specific, like procedurally generated shaders, to be honest. But in all the courses that I do Maya rendering, I show how to use like the hyper shade. Most of the stuff I do with materials, to be honest, with material textures. I'm gonna use my cut tool. This is the areas where things start getting a little bit tricky. So you might need to use other tools to make this work. There we go. Cool. So yeah, we had to add an extra little like line of geometry over there to capture that area, but it's looking nice. So let's see, some of my favorite artists. So I have a lot, well, not a lot, but there's this guy, Carlos Ortega Elizalde. He's from Mexico. When I was a student 12 years ago, he was already like a master, like a pro, and he's just only getting better and better. He does this very amazing stylized characters. His stuff is actually on the ZBrush, like he's been a ZBrush ambassador for a long time as well. So I super admire this guy. He's really cool, and he does a lot of really cool stuff. That's one of them. Of course, Rafael Grossetti, right? Everyone knows Rafael Grossetti from God of War. He's like one of the rock stars in the industry. He's really cool. There's another guy. His name is Alessandro Baldassaroni. I'm not sure if you guys have seen his stuff. He's not very famous, I would say, but his stuff is really famous. He's done a lot of like cinematic characters. He worked in Blur for a long time, and I've been following his stuff as well for quite a bit. So he's another one of my favorite like 3D artists. Who else? There's another guy, Glauco Longhi, of course, as well. He's really good. This guy. And then several of my classmates actually, I'm a huge fan of theirs as well, because they've been doing some amazing stuff. So Glauc is another one. And then for 2D art, I love Eitan Sana. I actually did a piece for my portfolio a long time ago. He has this very like epic, like cinematic, calm looking environments. I did this one for my portfolio when I was a student. It was in 2016, I think. So I really like his style, Eitan Sana. And then there's a comic book artist called Russell Dauterman. He has this very cool style as well for comic book characters. I don't know how to describe it. It's like cartoonish, but not too cartoonish. It's just really cool. I have several of his covers, and he's a great designer as well. Like he's been redesigning the outfits of a lot of like superheroes. So yeah, I really like his style. I love, of course, Scott Campbell. He also does a lot of like pinup stuff. I have several of his covers as well. Actually got a signed print of this one right here, the Mary Jane one. So yeah, those are like, I would say, some of my favorite ones. My favorite artists out there. No, I don't, Varjasin, I don't use Target Weld as much. Oh, actually, I do want to show a couple more. I have a really... There's this sculptor called Richard McDonald. But this is more like traditional art. He's so good, man. Like this guy right here. He did a series of sculptures for like Cirque du Soleil. And it's just amazing. One of my dreams, of my goals, is to do some traditional art as well, like a classical, like sculpting, like bronze sculpting. I've never done bronze sculpting before, but I've done traditional sculpting, and I think I could work towards that, because look at this, man, like so good. It's really, 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 really good. So yeah, those are some of my my favorite artists. Varjastin says, you don't often use Target Well. No, man, I don't use it, to be honest. It's not part of my arsenal. Okay, let's keep going here. Yeah, let's fix some of this stuff over here. And by fix, I mean let's fill it in. And start welding like the different parts together. There we go. Now, these things right here, the stitches, we actually don't need to capture them on the silhouette because they're going to be baked in. So we can just pretty much ignore them. We can just ignore them and go across them. It might even be a good idea to just delete them, to be honest. Or just remove them from this selection. Can we do that actually? Actually, they're not even being used, so perfect. Yeah, so we're not even taking them into account because they're not on live surface. And the reason why we can do that is because, again, we're going to be doing a normal map bake. And all of those details are just going to be projected. Just need to be careful about the... big silhouette of our element. There we go. I think I'm probably gonna be finishing the retopology off camera, my friends, because it's not as exciting. So probably in the next couple of days, I'm gonna be finishing the retopology. And then next time we have our live stream, we'll move on to like UVs and textures. That way we can move on to more interesting stuff. Have you guys seen the new D&D movie? I went with my friends last week. It's really fun. What do I use for baking textures? I use Substance Painter. But I've used Marmoset before, I've used X-Normal, I've used zbrush. Like, there's a lot of options. Do you have any ideas about the render crashing? Yeah, it could be that the scene is too heavy, Aryan. So a couple of options would be to render the scene in layers. You can use something called render layers, where you render like the foreground and then the background and then the middle ground and stuff. Make sure to go here to Arnold, and then there's if you're using GPU, Arnold, and then utilities, and then there's this pre-populate GPU cache. Again, Arnold, and then utilities, pre-populate GPU cache. That should make it a little bit easier to handle as well. Yeah, the movie is really good. It's good. It's really fun. If you're a D&D player, there's a lot of like Easter eggs and stuff. It's really fun. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're not aware, we have a Discord channel now. So again, if you go to the videos from last week, on the comment section, on the descriptions, there should be the link to the Discord channel. People are sharing their stuff there as well, and we're gonna be like, there's gonna be announcements and stuff in there. So if you wanna be up to date with everything that we're doing here in the channel, the Discord is a good place to find it. In France, it is in theaters until April 12th. Okay. Like a week. Yeah, if you can, go and see it, man. It's it's a good time. It's like a solid, fun movie. It's not gonna be breaking any records or anything, but it's a fun, solid movie. In Mexico, we call them palomeras, which means that you can have your popcorn and just enjoy the movie. So it's a very enjoyable movie, I would say. I've liked it more than like Ant-Man, the Quantumania that released like 2 months ago or something. There you go. And the previous D&D movies, yeah, it's definitely good, man. I can guarantee you're gonna like it. Well, I can't guarantee it, but I really liked it, and I tend to be quite critical of movies, so... Cool, guys. Any more questions before we wrap this up? I promise this is gonna be the last Retopology one. Next time we're gonna take a look at UVs, which is way more interesting. So I need to go and keep recording the premium course. I want to release it as soon as possible, and I need to go and finish it. So I'm gonna be stopping this in a couple of minutes. But if there's any more questions, now is the time. Feel free to ask. Do you look for technical stuff when watching the movie? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. I mean, there's not much you can like dissect, to be honest. Because things usually happen like really fast and stuff. In games is where I become a little bit more critical, because you can like stop, pause, and just study what you're seeing. Like, I was playing the Diablo beta last weekend, and I was looking at the textures and the models and stuff like that. So in games, I do that a little bit more. Yogis, Sodar, hello. You're at the end of the show, my friend. We're almost done. But if you have any question, feel free to ask. I'm right here. Okay, let's capture this bevel right here. What is my favorite class in D&D? Oh, that's a great question, man. Why are you asking that? Enjoy. This is a low poly. Why quads? Why not? We're gonna triangulate everything at the end, but it's easier to work with quads. Hi, just want to check in, and I love your zbrush scores. R2, thank you, my friend. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. So my favorite class in D&D is I think it's the monk. Like, my favorite character was a monk. I know monks tend to be like not as preferred, but my favorite character was a monk, and paladins are really, really cool as well. But lately, we've been playing Pathfinder. We switched from D&D to Pathfinder, which is a different system. Very similar in a lot of things, but quite different in others. And it has so many classes. And there's two classes that I really, really like. There's one called the Magus, which is like a spellcaster fighter, which is really cool. So you cast your spells on your weapon, like on your sword. And then when you hit with the sword, the spell goes off as well. And it's just like a lot of damage. It's really, really, really fun. And then the Witch is also really flavorful. I really like the Witch in Pathfinder 2e. We've been playing a lot of Pathfinder 2e. After the whole fiasco with Hasbro earlier this year, we switched to Pathfinder. And since my group is a little bit more tactical oriented, we've been having a lot of fun as well. Arian says, I will need some feedback on my LOE scene sliding. Some colleagues in my institute say it's a bit too bad. Yeah, if you want, send me a message on Discord, Arian, and I'll take a look. Varjasin, you want to know? Okay, so here's the sneak peek for the next courses. We're gonna be doing a ZBrush sculpting course. It's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be something that we haven't done yet. It's but that's gonna be ZBrush. And then there's going to be a modeling texturing course, like a production pipeline for games. It's something that you guys have been asking for quite a bit. And we're going to be introducing a new instructor as well in the next couple of months, who's going to be showing something really cool. I don't want to spoil it yet. But it's going to be a new instructor, again, with the software that we haven't used for this particular things yet. So I think you guys are going to like that one. Vehicle rigging. That's a great question. I haven't seen vehicle rigging, to be honest, Nikki. How to avoid the depression of the working, sometimes output not coming properly. That's a great question. Let me save it real quick and we'll finish with that. How do with deep slots when retopo? You go in there, man. Like you need to go in there and really retopologize those areas like that, because otherwise you're not gonna be able to capture the details. See that? So we go in there. It's a lot of topology. Anytime you do a model that has a lot of changes in silhouette, the retopology is gonna be a lot denser if you want to capture all that detail. But yeah, there we go. So not bad for like an hour of work here. So Wafi Mardini says, how's the job opportunity now as a 3D artist comparing with the development and the new AI? We already have Houdini. We already have a Houdini course, ThinkMesh. But no, it's not a new Houdini course. So I do think AI is definitely going to change the rules, or not the rules, the workflows and stuff. I don't think our job is going to go away, but we need to adapt to the tools, right? So if there are things that we used to do manually or traditionally, and now AI is going to simplify that, we need to get into it. Like we can't just ignore AI. And what's going to be important for us is how we use the AI, because as you guys know, the AI is very good at coming up with results, but it's not very good at coming up with the questions, right? Like you as the artist, you're the one that asks the AI the questions. So the more you can get the AI to the point that you're looking for, the better the result's going to be. So it's up to us as artists to work with the AI, again, as a tool, and use it to create the things that we want. So I think we need to see AI as a tool and not as an enemy. It's unfortunate that things will change, but that's the nature of things. Like if you think about like 20 years ago or 30 years ago when Photoshop first came out, people thought that the traditional photography was going to be dead, and there's still people out there doing traditional photography. It's definitely changed nowadays, and most people do like digital photography. But that's how it is. So you either adapt or you die, right? So I would recommend stay on the lookout for what things are happening on the AI side of things, and if there's something that's useful for you, use it. Like there's no problem as long as it's ethical and stuff, and you're not stealing from anyone. Which are things that need to be worked out. But yeah, AI is just a tool, man. It's just a tool. Adams, yes, we do have a Discord server now. Let me see if I can get you guys a link. I'll drop the link in the comments in just a second. Now, Valiji is asking a really interesting question, and I'm gonna give you guys my advice. Invite. There we go, guys. If you guys want to join the Discord channel, that's it. So there is an instructor called Ryan Kingsley, and he was also a Norman student way back in the day, and he's been teaching for a long time now. And he has something called the Valley of the Suck, and it's really interesting. He says that when we start a work, like you can think of this like a graph. When we start a work, we start very motivated, right? And we want to get, like, let's say right here, this is our goal. And you start really motivated, you are really excited to start a new thing, and then things start like not working, you don't like the result, and you get here. This right here he calls the Valley of the Suck, which is where you feel like you suck and you don't like what you're doing. And the best thing is to just power through and try to get as close as possible to your goal, because if you stay here, that's where you abandoned your stuff and you don't finish. So yeah, you might not get the final result that you were expecting at the first, but you're still gonna get really close, and next time when you start again, you're gonna get closer and closer and closer, and eventually you are gonna be really happy with your stuff. But unfortunately with art, you need to do a lot of stuff. You need to push that and power through those elements to really improve your craft. Practice is something that there's no way you can buy practice. You need to practice. No matter how many tutorials you buy or how many videos you watch, if you don't do the work, then you're not gonna be improving. So even if you don't like it, just finish it. Finish it, learn as much as you can from that specific project, and then move on to the next one. That would be my advice. So, any ideas on when we're gonna read The Guardian? That's a good question. No, I don't have a specific one. Like, I'm not sure, because this month it's the first part of the sci-fi character, and then next month is probably gonna be the second part of the sci-fi character. And then I want to do a couple of courses. Some people have been asking for BFX, so we're probably gonna be doing something like that. So I'm not sure if June or July is when we're gonna be doing the rigging. Yeah, that's right. Adam's practice makes perfect. That there's no other way. There's no other way. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for being here. If you want to check any of our courses, remember that we have our links down here: Skillshare, Udemy, ArtStation. There's a lot of places where you can find our courses. We just released this two ones over there, The Guardian and the stylized character one. Those are the most recent ones, and yeah, I'm gonna be seeing you back probably on Wednesday for another video on the lighthouse project that we started last week. So thank you very much, my friends. Have a great night, have a great day, have a great week, and I'll see you back